A few hours ago, the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation officially announced that Russian armed forces had destroyed 2 American Patriot air defense systems along with the Swedish Giraffe early warning radar. According to representatives of the Russian Defense Ministry, all these Western systems were discovered and destroyed in the Odessa region, on the Black Sea coast. Later, the Russian military released a video that clearly shows the moment of the destruction of the American Patriot air defense systems and the Swedish Giraffe radar. The footage clearly shows how a Russian reconnaissance drone detected enemy systems 40 kilometers northeast of Odessa. As it turned out, these NATO systems were deployed in the southern part of the city of Yuzhny, right on the Black Sea coast. Later, after the reconnaissance drone transmitted the exact coordinates of these Western systems to the Russian military, they were targeted with 3 Iskander-M ballistic missiles. According to the Russian military, as a result of this missile attack, 2 launchers of the American Patriot air defense system and 1 Swedish Giraffe radar were destroyed. Commenting on the destruction of such expensive and valuable American air defense systems and the Swedish radar, Ukraine's Air Force commander, Lieutenant General Mykola Olszczuk, said that Russian troops allegedly destroyed inflatable models of these Western systems. However, a more detailed analysis of the presented footage forced even Western experts to admit the destruction of Patriot air defense systems, since the video clearly shows the repeated detonation of launchers. Surprisingly, even the Ukrainian Telegram channels criticized the Ukraine's Air Force commander Lieutenant General Mykola Olszczuk for outright lies, and recognized the destruction of the American Patriot air defense systems and the Swedish Giraffe radar. At the same time, it is worth noting that many independent military experts and analysts reiterated that Russian reconnaissance drones fly absolutely calmly and with impunity over any part of Ukraine, which indicates that Western air defense systems are absolutely powerless and cannot protect Ukraine's airspace against the backdrop of increasing pressure from the Russian armed forces. It is reported that in the last 7-10 days alone, Russian reconnaissance drones have transmitted to the Russian military the exact coordinates of about 20 military targets, including MiG-29 fighter jets and command posts of the armed forces of Ukraine, as a result of which all these military targets were destroyed, even being at several thousand kilometers from the combat contact line. Meanwhile, the main coordinator of the partisan movement in Ukraine, Sergei Lebedev, reported on another successful operation of the Russian armed forces in the Kharkiv region. According to him, on the night of July 7, Russian forces, using valuable information received from local partisans, launched a combined missile attack on the settlement of Stary Merchik, located southwest of the city of Kharkiv. It is reported that as a result of this attack, about 7 kamikaze drones hit the territory of a local factory. As it turned out, the day before this attack, the Kharkiv partisans managed to find out that on the territory of this plant, there was a place of deployment of personnel of the armed forces of Ukraine and foreign mercenaries. It is reliably known that as a result of this attack, about 30 Ukrainian militants and 12 foreign mercenaries were killed. They were mostly citizens of Poland, Colombia, and Georgia. Not far from this plant, Russian kamikaze drones also destroyed 3 cisterns with fuel and lubricants, as well as 1 warehouse with a large amount of ammunition. It is reported that as a result of the detonation of ammunition, the armed forces of Ukraine also lost 5 pickups with turret machine guns mounted on them. However, the Russian military did not stop there, and continued to launch missile strikes against military targets in the Kharkiv region. According to Kharkiv partisans, at least 2 ballistic missiles hit a military train near the Lozovaya railway station, 150 kilometers from Kharkiv. As it turned out, this train carried various NATO military equipment, artillery systems, infantry fighting vehicles, and 155mm artillery shells. It is reported that for security reasons, the NATO military decided to bring Western types of weapons to the Kharkiv region in the dead of night. However, even such precautions did not help to avoid the destruction of valuable military cargo. It is reported that as a result of this missile strike, tens of thousands of artillery shells were destroyed, as well as several units of Polish Krab self-propelled guns, including American Bradley infantry fighting vehicles. At the same time, it is worth noting that the Ukrainian General Staff officially stated that the country's air defense allegedly successfully repelled this missile attack on the Kharkiv region. According to the Ukrainian military, all Russian kamikaze drones and missiles were allegedly shot down. Surprisingly, the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine continues to make such absurd statements even against the background of the fact that dozens of videos appear on the internet almost every day, where the destruction of military facilities of the armed forces of Ukraine, as well as the consequences of Russian missile attacks, are clearly visible. Against this backdrop, the deputies of the Ukrainian parliament called on the military high command, including the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine General Syrskyi, to resign. According to them, it is the Ukrainian generals, including General Syrskyi, who are guilty of the fact that the Russian army regularly launches missile and bomb attacks on strategic military bases of the armed forces of Ukraine, destroying a large number of combat aircraft and air defense systems. Ukrainian deputies also called on Ukraine's Air Force Commander Lieutenant General Mykola Olszczuk to stop lying. According to them, Ukraine's Air Force commander constantly lies by falsifying data on downed Russian kamikaze drones and missiles.